The purpose of this short video is to present you how to use the Gazelle test management platform in the context of interoperability testing, and especially how to use the proxy in the context of testing. So I will show you how it has been used during the European Connectatum in Luxembourg by vendors exchanging HL7 messages in the context of the PAM profile. So people register their application inside the Gazelle application, and I'm going to search for a test instance that was executed, performed during the Luxembourg Connectatum in the PAM profile. That was verified, successful, and I'm going to take this example. So this is a test between these two systems, the OSM system playing the role of the patient demographic consumer, and the OpenExtreme system using the patient demographic supplier role. So I'm going to click on the test instance link in order to open the link. So what we'll see here is the test instance metadata, the name of the test, the keyword, the ID of the test instance, who was the monitor who verified it, when the test was started, and last time it was changed, and which testing session it belongs to. You see the description of the test, which means all the instructions that the user have to follow. What you get here is a summary of the participants, so you get the name of the system and access to their configurations, the organization name, the user who's managing the system, the role they are playing in the test, the integration profile, the actor, and the tables so that you can find them in the Connectatum floor. When you have more than 100 systems, it's good to know where the people are located. By clicking on the icon here, the user has access to the system configuration. So if I'm acting as the OpenExtreme user, I will be able to find out what are the configuration of my partner and vice versa. Then you get the short sequence diagram that summarizes the transactions that need to be exchanged between the two systems. So here it's quite simple. We recommend the user to use a proxy, and we'll ask them to send an ADT 828 message in order to create a patient. And we want to make sure that the patient address is included in PDI 11. So then we have the detail of the test instance, and as you see, we get evidence logged by the participants, and that are proxy messages. So as their user have started their test instance, instead of sending the messages directly to each other, they have used the proxy as a middleman in order to exchange their messages. So how did they do that? If we look at the configuration of the system, so the OSM system is the one receiving or playing the role of the HL7 server, and we need to look at the configuration here to find out as responder the OSM for the actor. So they're playing the actor PDC. So I'm going to filter by PDC. And what I will find out is that the OSM system is listening on that IP address on that port number. So that corresponds to the port number here on that system. If we want to use the proxy, then the OpenExtreme user needs to configure a system to send the message on the IP address of the proxy on that port. And that is a port that is dedicated to that system IP address, to that actor, and to that port number. Okay, so that's what the OpenExtreme people did. And by clicking on the proxy messages link here, they get access to the proxy user interface, and the proxy filter the messages based on the incoming and receiving IP address. And we see that we find out what are the messages that were exchanged between the two systems. So we see the incoming query, the ADT-A28, ADT-A05, and the response message. We can look into details, and we get the details of what has been sent, when it took place, and we can see the incoming message and the response of the server. If I look at it, I have the content of the message, and since the proxy has access to the content of the message, as I can show you here, the proxy can call validation services. So as the tester performed the test, or as the monitor verified the test, they have the ability to get into the information in the proxy and validate the messages. The validation was already performed, but I can redo it if you want to see it. So I can first download the file if I need it. I can view it in line, so that will just open a window with the text content. Or I can call the validation service, and what I see is I've got my message here. I know it's an HL7B2 message in the context of iChief Europe. I do to go, try to guess what is the message profile to be used for the validation, found it, perform the validation, and I want to send back the outcome of the validation to the proxy system. Okay, so that's the second validation I just did today, and this validation was successful. I've got the permanent link to the validation, so I can load it and view it if I need it. Look at the XML content, view the tree of the message, and then we're looking at the PID 11. It's well filled as requested. And finally, in the test instance, what I can do is I can put a permanent link to the message that I just found on the proxy. So the permanent link is here. I can copy it and add a URL here. Let's say that's my message here. I'm doing add. So that's the one I just added. So I'm showing an evidence here that, and what you see here is I can comment it, saying that this was the query. And I can look at the content on the web. That opens the page. I can view the outcome of the validation. And if for some reason I don't have the validation, I need to recheck the content of the validation, I can ask that it is checked again. And I can delete it if I don't like it. So what I wanted to show you here is that in the context of a test instance between two systems, using the proxy in the Gazelle TS in conjunction with Gazelle TM allows the participants to actually capture the messages that have been exchanged between the two systems without having to search into the logs. And that way we are sure that the messages that are captured and logged into the test instance correspond to the real message exchange between the two systems tested, and that the response that you see is the response to the query that you get. Okay. This concludes the demonstration of how to use the proxy with Gazelle Test Management during the connectathon. Thank you for your attention, and do not hesitate to contact me if you have further question or any question on that subject.